sexist joke at a wedding. This isn't news. It's going to be news.
She plays you.
Madeline's not like that, is she?
Brand new drama, Douglas is cancelled. Coming soon to ITV1 and ITVX.
Hello there, welcome back to the Isle of Man TT Races 2024, where the adverse weather put paid to any meaningful road action on Tuesday, but thankfully the sun was shining once again and the riders were back out on the road in time for the Metzeler Super Twin TT, a second opportunity for Michael Dunlop to surpass his great uncle Joey as the rider with most wins ever around the TT course. He almost did it, of course, on Superbike Sunday. Cameron Donald almost fell off the sofa when he didn't. Unprecedented scenes, really, following his second pit stop.
Weren't they ever? Like pulling into the pits with over a 20-second lead. That's why you can never relax at the TT until that bike crosses the finishing line and gets a flag. Because just when we were set for what we thought would be a comfortable finish, yeah, all hell broke loose in that pit stop. Issues with the visor change, and that wind just slipped through his fingers.
Yeah, he was 21 seconds in the lead. He had time to get his helmet off. He had the presence of mind to take his gloves off, fix the visor, put it back on. And it was incredible. And he still got back out there, set a lap record on the final lap and finished fourth.
Yeah, that was incredible. A lot of other riders, I think, would have just gone to water under such amount of pressure, but he didn't. And of course, Davey Todd as well, sitting second at the time. He lost a huge amount of time in the pit stop. The race was literally turned on its head.
He'll be looking to make amends then today in this Super Twin race, which in recent years is pretty much either won or broken down.
He's definitely the favourite. He's got the lap record in this class. He's been quickest in qualifying, but we also know how highly stressed those smaller Super Twin machines are in this race, and mechanical failures aren't uncommon, so it's a race of attrition as well.
Yeah. Super Twins ostensibly are the entry-level class here at the TT, but more and more manufacturers are getting involved. There's more and more exotic machinery out there on the grid, and more riders taking a serious interest.
Yeah, they are, and it's always been a class where we'll quite often see the future generation of champions moving through, where a lot of riders ever get their first ever podium finishes at the TT.
OK, we'll find out soon if that's the case today. Plenty of contenders, no doubt about that. We'll hear from them in a few moments. But first of all, let's check out the conditions out on the course. Cam went for a little look earlier at Ginger Hall.
So we're out on course, checking conditions for today's race. Here we are, the Ginger Hall Hotel, one of the most iconic pubs course side. You can't get much closer to the action to have a pint. The lead up to here is an incredibly fast one. So I'll be straight down there, 6 gear, wide open on the throttle for about 15 seconds to reach the point I'm standing at here, which is about 20 miles into the course. Only takes them about 9 minutes to get here. As they start, Sector 3, heading out behind us, this part of the road has recently been resurfaced. It's nice and smooth, but not far out of eyeshot. It is back to the bumpy road of old as the bikes head down through Kerramore, Cockatrees, Milltown, and then finishing Sector 3, Parliament Square and Ramsey. But the conditions, although cool, they are clear and we are ready to go racing.
So all looking good then out at Ginger Hall. Let's find out how things are looking on the grid. Grace Webb is out there for us.
I've come a bit further down the grid here to number 16, Joe Yeardsley, who is a TT newcomer for this year, looking to be going really strong in qualifying this week. So we'll just try and grab a quick word with Joe. You look to be having a great week here, Joe. How's TT24 going for you?
Yeah, it's been going really well. It's obviously, you know, we've missed a few sessions and with the weather disruptions, but I think the organisers have done a great job in delaying things and making it safe for everyone. But no, to be setting off 3 bikes behind Peter Hickman in my first ever Super Twin TT is an amazing experience, and just good luck to all the competitors today, and I hope everyone comes back safe.
Thanks so much for that, Joe. Good luck.
No problem, thank you.
Definitely one to watch out for there. The Senior Manx Grand Prix winner for last year, Joe Yeardsley. As we move along the grid, we come to bike number 14, and Mike Brown is actually right here next to us. Mike, you look to be going really strong in this class last year. How's the race looking for you now you're on an Aprilia?
Pretty good again this year. Had a few problems during the week, but I think we have it sorted for the race, so no, it's looking good.
Do you still think you can maybe challenge for the podium like you were last year?
I don't really know, to be honest. Last year with all the breakdowns and everything, that's kind of that's what I'm relying on, really. That, you know, a few people might break down. You just don't know in this race. So our pace isn't far away off a podium. So if we're near enough to it, and some lads maybe break down, you mightn't be far away.
It's going to be exciting to watch. Good luck for it, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. A podium contender there, so it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on the Aprilia. Further up, number 12, Stefano Bonetti, an Italian rider. He's had 4 top 10 finishes in this race, so another one to look out for. And next to him, number 10, Peter Hickman on that colourful Swan Racing bike. You're not going to miss that on the grid. And as it goes around the mountain course, we'll just see if we can get a quick word with Hickey before he goes out. Hickey, we're definitely going to spot you out on the mountain course on these new colours, but it looks to be a really impressive bike. It's proven to be quick at the Northwest 200. How's it looking for the TT?
We're about to find out, aren't we? Yes, I mean, so far so good. We don't really know where we're going to end up, to be quite honest. We're still not the fastest bike. It's fast, but it's not the fastest. Let's wait and see. You know, she handles really good. That's one of the good things about this bike. So hopefully, wherever we do lose in the straight line, we can make up through corners. But we'll soon find out, and looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Good luck, Hickey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grace. Lots of stories to look out for in this one. Then the Metzler Super Twin race is coming up after the break.
We have a visitor in town.
She's frightening something.
It's just gonna get worse coming here.
Kumar knew something and passed it on to you.
Bay of Fires. Watch now on ITVX.
Welcome back to the Isle of Man TT Races 2024. Time now for the Metzler Super Twin race. Paul Jordan was first on the road. Cam Donald made his way up to the commentary box to join Andrew Coley.
Super Twin coming up. Here's your form guide. Dunlop fastest from Hickman and Coward. Of course, Dunlop and Hickman took the 2 wins last year. Same course as we use for all the bikes, but of course each of the classes has their own unique challenges. This one, parallel twins up to 700cc. The mountain will be a big challenge to keep up the pace. You've got to ride with momentum. They don't have the outright power of the big bikes, but it takes an incredible skill to get a decent lap time, and we're very much looking forward to seeing who can get the business done. Sunshine and cloud, as we see off the start Paul Jordan on the Yamaha R7, and then coming up next Jamie Coward. Still 10-second starts in between them, and we ride on board with Coward off the line. Cameron, these are very different machines.
Yeah, they certainly are production based, highly modified, come out of the factory about 65 to 70 horsepower. Most of these machines will be running closer to 100 horsepower to race the TT course.
So they're quite highly strung. Is it fairly safe to say that?
They absolutely are, and of course the more modifications, the less reliability. So we often see a heavy mechanical toll taken on these machines as they get their necks absolutely wrung around the 37 and 3/4 mile course.
Here's a man who's going to wring the neck of this one for sure. Michael Dunlop, after that disappointment on Superbike Sunday, look at him, he's tucked in, he's got his rear high up on the back of the bike, elbows almost through the tank. Look at it, already in the super slipstream position. And Cammy, they're going to need that everywhere around the whole lap.
Yeah, absolutely, as we see Dom Herbertson head off the line, followed by Peter Hickman in the Swan Racing colours.
Fantastic looking machine. Hickman tucks himself in. Hickman is a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he keeps saying he's not a small bike rider, but his results beg to differ.
They do indeed. You can never ever bet against him, and you ride on board with him now down Bray Hill. And this is somewhere you just don't want to be lifting at all. Carry that pace. Going uphill is going to be much harder, as we said. It's going to be the mountain section where you really notice that they've got to keep the revs up. Paul Jordan looking back on the exit of Greeba Castle, and he's already been caught. So Jamie Coward's caught. You know, Coward was quicker by around 30 seconds in the fast laps of qualifying, but I'm still surprised to see him caught this early, Cam.
Yeah, for sure. Paul Jordan mustn't be happy with that rev to race Yamaha R7 at this stage. Jamie Coward making short work of him on his way through. Jamie Coward is definitely one of the favourites for this event, though. Previous podium finisher in the class.
Yeah, and right up there in practice week, wasn't he? A 120.3, so only half a mile an hour slower than Hickman round the course, and 1.5 mile an hour slower than Dunlop. So absolutely bang on it to say. Has caught him early. He's now leading on the road, and I'm sure that Jordan will try and go with him. But as we look back, he's not really able to, Cam. Coward stretched his legs on him already.
Yeah, these are a bike that'll really benefit from having a slipstream, but I don't think Paul Jordan's got any answer to the speed of Jamie Coward.
Look how tucked in Dunlop was. We got just a glimpse of him as we now ride on board with Dominic Herbertson.
Dom the Bomb Herbertson, another rider mounted on the ever-popular 650 Patton machine that we see Michael Dunlop piloting. We know how fast these bikes are. They're usually the machines that'll top the outright speed traps.
He was P4 practice week, so Herbertson also looking for a good result. There's the water in the road. So that was on the matrix board. The matrix board, if you're not familiar, is the board that is up at the start and it tells the riders where are the damp patches. There were a couple today, Cam.
Yeah, there was, and of course no siding lap, no warm-up lap this morning. These riders are going in completely blind. I always say these are the conditions that favour the brave, and there's none braver than Michael Dunlop.
Yeah, absolutely. The other damp patches, if you're wondering, in and out of Ramsey Hairpin, wasn't it, I think? So not places which are too quick. Braddon Bridge was the other place, of course. Braddon Bridge entry and exit. That's medium speed, isn't it? But all the same, you don't want any water on the course when you're out on the TT.
You don't, as we ride on board with Jamie Coward. Now this spot is certainly not medium speed, heading down through McGuinness's towards Bigarro top. Wow, that is a fast section of the course as we see Jamie Coward peel in through the top and bottom of Bigarro.
Wow.
Michael Dunlop now, oh, you can see that rear suspension moving as we've got our first Glen Helen split.
3.2 seconds up on Dom Herbertson. So Herbertson's doing brilliantly here, P2. Hickman, look, is down in P5. Jamie Coward, who'd done well in practice, is up there as well. So this could be a great result for Herbertson. Would be a first podium, but obviously 3 laps still to go.
Long way to go, but I tell you, for Michael Dunlop to pull out 3 seconds when these bikes are already so closely matched, he is pushing hard. Straight past Davey Todd. And Davey Todd's the one that's been doing most of the passing this week, but not so in this first Super Twins race.
So Todd's been doing really well on the big bikes, hasn't he? I don't think he's spent so much time on the Super Twin, am I correct with that?
No, I think the focus has been on the other machines, but we still expected him to be near the front in this race.
Well, we might have expected Hickman to be a little bit nearer, but Hickman, as we said many times, does tend to warm up through the course of a race, but I don't think he can give much time to Dunlop to check out up the front as we ride with Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, podium finisher in this same race last year. Last year as aboard a Patton. This year he's on the Aprilia 660, a new machine. Has not been going quite as well as he was last year. Maybe still coming to terms with a new bike.
Here comes Jamie Coward. And now with Rob Hodson. And that is Michael Dunlop behind him. So Dunlop on the famous number 6 on 26 wins. Looking for 27, pulls out of the slipstream, makes the pass. Can he get over the disappointment of Sunday? You've got to be weighing on your mind a little bit. You're going to be a little bit tight.
Yeah, these guys Look, these bikes are all about momentum, and having that lower horsepower, you can't afford to roll off. There's no point and shoot like with a superbike. These bikes are all about carrying that extra RPM, carrying that speed. Hence, when they come up behind slower riders ahead, they have to get past.
Josh Brooks at the back of the train of 3 there. And now back with Hickman. Oh, stands the bike up on the rear wheel just for a moment and then tucks straight back in.
You see the slow-mo there, Michael Dunlop making the pass on Rob Hodgson. Both riders a similar frame, but look how much more Michael Dunlop is tucked in down behind the bubble.
Fantastic stuff from Dunlop. He's flying. He's 6.6 seconds ahead of Balap as we see Coward coming through to Ramsey. We'll get our updates at the Ramsey hairpin timing line now. Got to be one. It was at the slowest point on the circuit, probably, isn't it? Just as they're starting the climb now, with the, the lack of power on the Super Twin machines.
And they'll feel that lack of power on the way up the mountain. But another thing they're going to feel is how strong the wind is today. Look at that, the trees and the bushes on the side of the road just getting blown about. You can only imagine how severe that's going to be when they get to the top of the mountain.
Dunlop comes through and he is 11 seconds up the road already. Nice momentum, nice wide line through the hairpin. The classic Dunlop look back. See what else you can see, Cam, in the background on that shot was the Manx flag absolutely cracking in the wind. So yeah, you're right, it'd be a lot of wind up the top. How that affect the line, aside from obviously the slipstream issues of wanting to duck below the fairing, how much do you get blown about on the big, all the small bikes up top? Look at the flags.
Yeah, you get blown around a lot, and more so than Windy Corner, that's how it's got its name. You don't really change your line, but the bike just changes what it does across the track on its own accord at times, and you've just got to battle away with it.
Herbertson is only 9 behind Dunlop, so when Herbertson comes through, he is the nearest man, but Hickman has moved up a couple of places. So Hickman now just 0.5 off the back of Herbertson. They are both within 10. Oh, wow. Hickman,
Josh Brooks almost touched the wall on the inside there. Now Michael Dunlop nearly sucking the stickers off Paul Jordan as he blasts past on the way up the mountain.
Fantastic stuff. Look at the extra speed he's carried at Cam. This is what we've been saying the whole time, how crucial it is to carry the speed up. That is into Bungalow, Jamie Coward. And he's the last man standing for Michael to pass, isn't he?
He is, and look, that wind we were talking about before, it's strong up there. Now we've got a leaderboard at the Bungalow.
Waiting for Dunlop to come through. Of course, he should be the next bike through. Got his split from Ramsey hairpin. Here he is. What's the damage now? Bearing in mind, though, it's Herbertson who is in P2.
You could see Michael have 2 bites at the tip-in at the Bungalow.
13.7 up the road, but say Herbertson is the man, and Herbertson's running a fair bit further down the road, so we'll check the gap when he comes. Here he is, having a great run. Not so many flies, Cam, as we've seen before.
No, that strong wind could have a lot to do with that. Mostly gone to ground today, I think. Too windy for even the flies on the mountain.
Here he comes then, through, about to trigger the split. Oh, how nervous will he be knowing that he's going to get potentially that first podium? Yeah. And he's dropped behind Hickman, so Hickman's got him. So Hickman has gone up, and Herbertson is now in P3. Coward, look, is only 2.4. Hodgson's only another 2 back. So there's a great scrap going on here for P3.
There certainly is. What an impressive push by Pete Hickman from a steady start. He's really working his way through the field, which we all too often see him do, Andrew.
There's a fantastic exit to Cregney Bar. I've been lucky enough to sit there on practice week, and it is just bonkers. They are so close there, and the entry to Hilbury, 2 of my favourite places to watch course-side, Cam. Just what a wonderful place. Here comes Dunlop, down to the Craig, pitches the bike into the right-hander. He's coming towards the end of his first of 3 laps. There on the left-hand side, telling me you've got to go in for fuel this time. Remember, mandatory fuel stop for everybody on lap 1 in the Super Twin encounter. Herbertson up over the crest and coming down towards the Craig now.
Oh, these riders are absolutely tapped as things tighten up for the podium placings. Regardless of their signals on course, they'll find out exactly where they are during their pit stop.
Here's Michael coming in the distance. He's coming in a little bit sideways, as always. Not the smoothest, but hey, he is the fastest. Here we go, he's That's loud. Jamie Coward's bike is really loud. I don't know whether he's got a blown exhaust or not. Michael's there, look, visor up. You can see the front of these machines today. The boys mentioned it in the comms. Hardly any flies around. No need for a visor change or new tear-offs on the visors or anything. So, massive splash of fuel on there for Michael's bike. Here we go, visor up. Doesn't even look behind him. Straight out the pit lane on the limiter. The old boy, Michael Rutter, down here below me, look, as cool and as casual as he always has been. He's going out on his parade lap later on. I'm sure he's ready for that.
So Rutter heads out and Hickman is in.
Pete Hickman's team just got to bring that tank. It's a splash and dash after the compulsory first lap pit stop. He's about to get back out on course, and a high-octane rinse wash for the dashboard of Pete's bike there before he heads out.
Yeah, if there are any flies on the inside of that, they'll be gone by now, won't they? That'll remove anything. Jamie Coward flashing out underneath the trees and away.
Listen, he's flipping down those gears. These bikes are held wide open for so much of the lap. With this lower horsepower, it's crucial to keep the tap wide open.
Well, look at the splits. Coward is just 1/100th of a second behind Dominic Herbertson for that all-important last place on the podium. Herbertson has dropped 5 seconds back from Hickman, but this man leads Hickman by 10 seconds. He's tucked in, he's on a big old push. He's looking for win number 27. Got to be careful and look after that machine. There's still a couple of laps almost to go.
In this night, and in this hour, I call upon the ancient power. Bring your powers to we sisters 3, 2, 1.
Revisit the saga. All episodes of Charmed, available now on ITVX.
Welcome back to the Metzler Super Twin Race 1. We're on to lap 2 of 3. You are with Jamie Coward, who's locked in that battle for P3 in war. Just stands the bike up a little bit over that wet patch.
Yeah, taking a little caution, accelerating hard in second gear there, so better just to stand it up and then tip it back in.
Here comes Dunlop. Let's see how much caution he shows it. Yeah, and stands it up a little bit too.
Yeah, almost a carbon copy. But you can visually see how hard Michael Dunlop is pushing. He's clearly the fastest out on course at the moment.
He's 22 up on Coward, but of course we know Hickman and Herbertson are in the mix there as well. It was Hickman that was P2 before, so once they trigger the splits, we'll have an idea. All the road as well, of course, to try and gather as much speed as he can as we see Pierre-Yves Vian. Now, Pierre-Yves Vian was on the podium last year as well.
Yeah, French rider. He's very fast in this class as he plies his trade around this TT course. I'm sure he'll be one that'll keep improving into years ahead.
Yeah, his first podium, he was actually P2 in the second Super Twin race. Here comes Davey Todd. Todd was down in P9 at the grandstand, and he avoids the wet on the inside completely.
We saw him take a similar line on the bigger bikes, and it certainly seems to be working for him on those.
Yeah, handy when it is damp out there. Here's Dunlop, look, wringing its neck. You can just see, we talk about the body language a lot. Bottom of Bagaro, watch this. You can hear the throttle trace in the background, absolutely pinned. He's 10.7 up on Pete Hickman. And now Michael Rutter, 52, I think he is, the same as John McGuinness. He'll still be inside the top 10 once some of the later riders have come through.
Yeah, R7 Yamaha mounted. Michael, he was one of the first on the Yamahas last year. Now he's one of many on the Japanese brand.
So that is Dom Herbertson. He's just past Pierre-Yves Vian as they come down towards the bottom of the Garrow. There they are. Oh, and that's Hickman. So Hickman is there as well. Davey Todd, now we're back with the Kawasaki 650 from Dafabet Racing.
I'm sure this is not where Davey wants to be position-wise, but he'll make the most of the laps. It's all more practice for the races ahead this week.
Over Balaf Bridge, you can just see the little hop. Look at the crowds down there as well. Scaffolding's built in everybody's front gardens, pub beer gardens. Such a fantastic event. You've got to get over and see it if you haven't already. Here comes Coward. Now, Coward was dropping down the leaderboard just a little bit, Cam, a minute ago when we saw the splits. the previous splits. He was 100th off, so a puff of dirt coming up in the background there. And when the other riders come through, he's definitely dropped off the fight for P3. Only a little bit. Dunlop leads, says 26.1, but remember Hickman and Herbertson are going to be inside that as they come to Bluff Bridge.
Right aboard with Rob Hodgson. Oh, over Balacry. Hear the rev spike, then he tucks back in straight away.
Was it Balacry where you looked down at the dash the other day, Cam?
I was only going a little bit slower than I thought.
His life in the old dog, yeah, I'm sure. Back with Rutter.
Oh,
he
nice.
comes, yeah, up lovely over the same section. So look, 13 seconds between Dunlop and Hickman. So Dunlop has turned the tap on. Were you saying, Cam, the tap's fully on all the while on these machines, but he's just managing to eke out a few tenths in each of the sectors. Oh, Herbertson is flying, and there is Hickman behind. So Hickman hasn't caught Herbertson yet.
No, he is not. It just shows how hard those two are going.
Hickman is currently on for that P2, and with a lap and a half to go, Cam, 13 seconds is a significant lead, but you said it already, these bikes are pretty highly strung, and Dunlop, looking at the pace he's on, he would have been on lap record pace were it not for the pit stops. He's trying quite hard, and we saw the Super Twin let go last year. He doesn't want the same again. Yeah, double disappointment with what happened in Superbike the other day would be a real confidence knock.
Yeah, it would be, but I'm sure that disappointment in Superbike has just been more fuel on the fire for Michael to try to record this 27th win.
He's got to go for it, hasn't he? He's got to get. But you know what? It's not in his nature, is it, to ride for a finish? If he had a little bit more of a gap, maybe, but 13 is not enough. Here he is now. Will he take the standard look back? He doesn't.
No.
Oh, he's starting to drop a few laps out to catch us out. Herbertson with Hickman in behind.
It's interesting that Peter's been able to close that gap up a little bit on the run down to Parliament Square. He's getting the slipstreams. We know the pattern has been significantly quicker than the Yamaha through the speed trap this week, but under brakes, Pete throws it right back in there.
No room there. He'll want to get through if he can before the mountain. I wonder, it's got to be the hairpin. Surely he's lining him up, Cam.
Yeah, he'll need to. He'll want to get past. We know how fast Pete is across the mountain. He won't want to be held up at all. With Don Herbertson's speed, Pete is going to have to earn this pass.
He is indeed. So can he nail it on up at the hairpin? He's sitting right behind now through Stella Maris. If he's going to do it, he'll look to the inside. He does look to the inside. You're on board there with Herbertson as Hickman snicks it up the inside line, lays the bike over. Oh, and look at the body language from Hickman now. Now he's getting a bit of a wiggle on as well.
Now Dom will grit his teeth and just try to get a toe off the back of that Swan Yamaha.
What point do you start thinking about your first ever podium, Cam? He won't necessarily know that Coward's dropped out the battle. I mean, he's not really dropped out. He's 5.4 behind, but you know, it's advantage Herbertson at the minute.
It's a moment like this as a rider, you just need to remind yourself to focus on that next corner, focus on that next timing sector. The result will take care of itself.
Todd exits the hairpin on the Kawasaki. And meanwhile, up front, here is Pete Hickman with that fantastic livery on both the leathers and the bike. Fully tucked in. It'll be windy up here. Every single little bit of aerodynamic efficiency you can get up here matters.
Yeah, and that's actually tiring as a rider. These bikes, they're not as hard to muscle around as a super bike, but it is physically tiring, keeping the head down, keeping those elbows in. It's a lot of work in itself.
How's the view as well when you're tucked in behind? Obviously, you're tucked in behind the screen, but you really got your head super low.
Well, there's not much view of the scenery when you got your head behind that screen, but yes, you spend more time looking through the screen on the Super Twin than you would in any of the other classes.
Yeah, I noticed Hickman's running a slightly different screen to everyone else, so the bikes we've been looking at on board. Is that because he's a bit broader and he needs more screen to protect him in the aero position?
Yeah, well, some of these bikes, you'll see little slots or holes in the front fairing or screen. That's meant to ease the turbulence when you're tucked in behind the bubble.
Look at Dunlop. This is what we're talking about. His elbows are almost down in his hips when he's in position on that machine. As we see Joe Yeardsley up behind Baz Ferber. Oh, Yeardsley looked to the inside and then just stood it up, thought better of it.
Yeah, Yeardsley, a hard-charging newcomer, local Manxman. Baz Ferber there finished 6th in one of these races last year too. Both good riders, yeah.
Good lads, great to see them out there. People using Super Twin as a good way in, Cam. You don't want to necessarily, if you're new to TT, jump on a Superbike straight away.
A great way to learn the course. Oh, as we watch Michael Dunlop peeling through Windy Corner, white line to white line, as we're getting a gaggle of bikes coming up here through the bungalow. Michael Rutter ahead of Pete Hickman, who wastes no drafting past on the way up to Harwood Heights, and there's Dom the Bomb. He'll also want to get past and keep that toe off Peter Hickman for as long as he can.
Makes such a big difference, doesn't it, when you're in tight behind another bike on these little Super Twins. Here he comes now. Maybe not quite, well, definitely not quite so experienced as Hickman in the passing. Hickman was super assertive there, and this man has been assertive right from the off. Dunlop over the crest just before Kate's Cottage. The bottom of your screen there, that's Jamie Coward, started second on the road. He is the last bike remaining in front of Dunlop. Dunlop coming down towards the Craig. Look at the people on the banks there, feet out almost into the racing line. That's how close you can get. Into the right-hander. Might see a pitboard on the left-hand side here. There it is. That'll be telling Dunlop where he is and what he's got to do. The helicopter up in the background, looking to capture a moment in history if he can pull this off.
So the helicopter follows Michael Dunlop for these few final miles to complete lap 2. Then there's just one lap standing between him and that elusive 27th TT win.
Hickman 13.5 seconds back. It seems he can't do anything about the flow of time, the flow of tenths towards Dunlop. As we saw a moment ago, Dunlop will have had the heads up as to what that gap is, and he'll know that on that final lap he can back off if he wants, as we see him crank it over to the right through Hilbury. And now up towards Cronkley Mona, and then of course Signpost Bedstead, where there's still another whole lap to go, and he has been using this machine hard.
We heard some rumours earlier that the Patton uses a lot of fuel when it's being ridden as hard as Michael Dunlop does, so could fuel consumption become an issue on this last lap?
All still to play for. He will be feeling nervous after Sunday, but at the moment, he leads.
Steve, just waiting here, obviously, watching the guys on the screen. The helicopter's just coming above in the sky there, so we know they're on the way. Obviously, Michael's got Coward in his sights coming down the road, so we're just waiting on Jamie Coward to fly through here first. Michael's got a good cushion, and do you know what? Like James said in the comms, you would think he'd be rolling it off, but Michael doesn't do things like that. There's more flipping chance of seeing ex-Grand Prix rider Jeremy McWilliams on the starters list. Here we go. Not quite as frightening as Superbikes, luckily. Here we go, here's the main man himself. Believe me, that kid is not rolling off.
Welcome back to the Metzler Super Twin Race 1, the first of our Super Twin encounters at the 2024 TT. On the number 2, Jamie Coward, who's been first bike on the road since Glen Helen on lap 1. But this man, Michael Dunlop, on 26 TT wins, has been at the top of the timesheets right from the start. Hickman is closing the gap just a little. He's closed down by 1.5. This is Rob Hodson. That doesn't sound well.
No, he's off the throttle. He's coasting. Oh no, he was in such a strong 6th position. Bike's still running as he pulls off the course, so it's not a catastrophic issue, but enough to stop him in his tracks.
What a shame. Now we're with Mike Brown.
Aboard the RS660 Aprilia, looking down.
Couple of looks. Now, Cam, you do that for if you think you might be dropping fluid, don't you? Or if you've got an unknown problem, you're literally looking, can I physically see what the issue is?
Could be a loose foot peg. It could be anything there on that right-hand side, brake lever, whatnot, but there obviously is something catching his attention.
Michael Rutter from the helicopter. Fantastic shots. We've got 2 helis up, one at either end of the island to follow the action for you guys at home, and haven't they brought us some incredible pictures? Now, finally, he's caught the last man on the road in front of him, said he's been at the top of the timesheets all day anyway, and he blasts past Coward easily. Dunlop now first on the road and first on the timing screen.
Back on board with Mike Brown. Will we see him look down again? Oh, into Cronkabody straight. That's certainly somewhere you're not going to look down.
Absolutely not, is it? That's a hard no from there. Here's Dunlop, and Coward will try and hold on to the back, I guess, now and keep that toe up all the way around to the finish.
Well, it took a long time for Michael Dunlop to catch and pass Jamie Coward because he is flying.
Mike Brown again. And you saw there the two differing styles of our front two bikes on the road, Dunlop and Coward. Dunlop landed on the front wheel, Coward on the rear over Belaf Bridge just a few moments ago. Here is Coward, nailed onto the back of a potential 27-time winner here.
Yeah, Jamie Coward, if he could manage to snatch a podium in this race, it would be his third in this class.
Now, Herbertson behind Hickman is also nailed onto a TT legend. We've got to call Hickman that these days. And he's looking for his first ever podium. What a great position to be in following Hickman home. That's going to give him a few extra miles an hour on the big straights. So Herbertson is really on for this, and he's now got 9.4 over Coward at the split at Belaf Bridge. So looking on for his first ever podium. And Dunlop is 20 seconds ahead. He has really gone for it on this last lap. He's actually on lap record pace.
Well, that certainly answers the question of whether he's going to roll off or not. As we see Mike Brown, nice pass, slotting himself there past Pierre-Yves Bihan.
Nicely done, fantastic move by him. So we got two sets of two bikes heading around this course. Dunlop, look, 162, and Jamie Coward as well. This is the speed trap at the end of Selby Straight, 160.9 for Herbertson. Hickman's nowhere to be seen on there. Hickman is really riding the wheels off that thing around the corners because he's not up there on the top speed.
No, he's not, but he's certainly making up for it in the turns. But look at this. Jamie Coward, he's going to hang on to the back of Michael Dunlop if he can, but he's going to have to work because Dunlop is on lap record pace.
Oh, I thought Coward was going to look up the inside there, and you can't do that. We cannot have any incidents after what happened on Superbike Sunday. Oh, he hasn't looked back. He'll have been able to hear him anyway there, but Dunlop had to look back there, and rightly so.
I see Pete just using a little bit more road than last time. Shows how hard he's pushing on.
And he's dropped Herbertson a little bit, Cam. Just gapped Herbertson by a little bit, so Herbertson might be in for a slightly lonelier ride to the finish, but it's going to be an incredible finish for him. Coward's closing the gap down a bit, so Coward threatening Herbertson's position.
Oh, to see Yeardsley
and Baz Ferber still together.
They're back together. I thought Yeardsley would have pulled away, but Ferber quite experienced.
Michael Rutter up to the hairpin.
Always looks super smooth, Michael Rutter. That Batham's colour scheme looks fantastic too for the Yamaha R7.
Hickman at the bottom of the mountain, about to start the big climb. He goes through Gooseneck, climbing really all the way from Ramsey, but this is where you've got to keep it on the whole way through. Davey Todd through the right-hander, Stella Maris up towards the hairpin. Todd is showing in fifth, but with a few people to come through on the splits, he'll be slightly lower than that, I think. And as you said earlier, Cam, still good seat time and good lap time ahead of getting onto the bigger bikes later in the week again.
Yeah, Davey Todd, consummate professional who'll never give up. Mike Brown. Listen, quite a distinct note on that RS660 Aprilia. Sounds lower revving to me than some of the other machines.
Not looking down anymore, so maybe whatever the issue was has resolved itself. Look at this section here, Cam.
Through Guthrie's.
You're so familiar with this, but again, through here, you've almost got to risk it more on the small bikes to make sure you carry the exit speed for these long straights that are uphill.
Just all about corner speed, all about momentum, and that's why Michael Dunlop is so strong in this class. Remember, this is what he plied his trade in, racing the Irish roads, 125, 250s as he came up through the ranks, and now he's using those skills to good use.
21.7 seconds back, Peter Hickman is. Here is Dunlop, and Coward is going with him. So Coward, this could help Coward, because Herbertson, remember, has been dropped by Hickman, but Coward is still going with Dunlop. So could Coward steal that P3 from Herbertson right at the end of this race?
It certainly could work for him, and look at the slipstream effect. It's working so well. Jamie Coward needs to just keep edging out of the slipstream so he doesn't run into the back of Michael Dunlop.
Hickman through at Bungalow. Where is he when he comes and trips the timing line? He slots in, still 21.6 back. So looking at the splits, Dunlop was about a second off lap record pace down at Ramsey hairpin. So he's, when we say rolled off, Cam, it's a figurative term, you know, there's degrees of rolled off.
Michael's focus now will be on race victory, not lap records. As Jamie Coward, though, uses that toe, and that gap is close to Dom Herbertson, ahead of him now from 6 into 5 seconds.
Look at the fans down the side of the road. They are on their feet for a legendary performance. Look at this. We've seen fist pumps all week long for Dunlop as he equalled the record. He looked like he was going to break it on Superbike Sunday, but it didn't go his way. There at the side of the road, look, you can see the pit boards are out and the fans are applauding as they come around towards the end of this third lap on Super Twin.
And now Michael will be just counting off these corners, talking to that pattern beneath him, saying, come on, let's just get home. Let's record that 27th win if we can.
Back with Hickman. Nothing for him to do now. 21.6 back. He'll know that the game is up from when he's in his pit boards. Still a brilliant performance from him being up on the podium, especially on these bikes which maybe aren't so suited to such a big man, and we'll be expecting big things later in the week. It's always hard to compare sporting eras, but Joey Dunlop's record of 26 wins stood for 24 years. Michael Dunlop equalled him just a few days ago, and it's fitting as Joey's nephew that he now takes the mantle as King of the Mountain. It's 27 wins at the TT for Michael Dunlop. Wow. Wow, it's finally done. The pressure's off, Cam, it's finally done. Incredible.
Absolutely, Peter Hickman takes second step on the podium, and Dom the Bomb Herbertson in his 45th TT start, his first ever podium.
Absolutely incredible result for Herbertson, and as you say, Hickman and Dunlop, the two legends at the top of the table, but number one legend today, Dunlop, he's done it, 27 wins.
Michael, your 27th TT win as you become the rider that has the most TT wins ever. Is this an incredible feeling for you?
Just to get that overall thing was what I was looking for, and yeah, I can't say much more else. It's took a bit of the dampener off Sunday, but not all of it.
Well, your lead was extending throughout that race. Did you feel comfortable?
Yeah, I felt good. The boys said these boys are coming, and I says, well, it's time I better be moving then. So I just put a couple of seconds. Just felt good. I felt good to the bike. Just took me a minute to relax, calm down, keep at it, and go. And yeah, I felt the bike felt good. The boys have worked really, very windy up there, and I'm not the smallest people in the world, so I was just trying to squeeze in as much as I could, and I could feel Jamie at me, and I was trying. I could feel him putting more stress on the bike, but no. Can't say more than that. It's a nice place to be.
Is it going to be a special feeling for you as you stand on that top step for your 27th TT win?
Yeah, look, it's obviously, you know, as I said, I'll never be modelled against Joey, and I don't expect to be, and I don't want to be. Joey was a special talent. My record, well, someday I'll get it someday. But I don't care, because at the end of the day, everybody's inspirement in life was to be a Joey Dunlop around the Isle of Man, and to have another win, for me, that's the tip of the top. You know what I mean? It's not that many better. It's a personal thing there now, and that I wanted to break. It's one of them records that's everybody's been breaking records. I've broke a lot of records through my lifetime, but that's one that I've always wanted.
I'm happy to be on the podium, of course. Great to be in the race where Michael, you know, gets 27 wins. What an unbelievable achievement. And managed to actually congratulate him this time as well. So, yeah, fantastic to be involved in that part of history. We just didn't have enough today to be able to actually challenge him, but we'll have another go. You know, we've got another race on Friday, and we'll see if we can make some tweaks, see if we can find a few more miles per hour, and who knows.
An incredible podium. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
It's a surreal moment, not bad for a fat lumberjack, so it's back on the trees Monday, but no, fantastic. I don't know what, honestly, if people, the small amount of people that know me on the surf know I've got a lot of rubbish that comes out my mouth normally, and this is the first time I've been truly stumped, but you know, there's a lot of people, well, I take that back, there's been a handful of people in this world that have believed I could do it, and I never thought I could do it.
History made then. Michael Dunlop becomes the most successful rider ever around the TT course. 27 wins, and what a day, Cam, for Dom Herbertson to be up on the podium at such a historic moment. He's going to have a picture on the mantelpiece for years to come.
He surely will. Absolutely brilliant. The class showed how it is great at fostering talent into the TT. And again, we've seen another rider take their first ever podium in that Super Twins class.
Yeah, Michael mentioned in his interview that it doesn't quite make up for his disappointment from Sunday, which is fair enough. What's he got to do to make up for that before the end of the week?
I think a few more wins might help ease the pain, but it was definite. That disappointment the other day was more fuel on the fire for today's race, because what an effort.
Yeah, Pete Hickman second in that race, Cam, but perhaps a little bit of a surprise that some of the other manufacturers weren't that little bit closer to the patterns.
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of trying, but I think probably missing a little bit of qualifying time didn't help with some of those riders' setups, as Davey Todd told us he was struggling with setup time and whatnot, and it's just such a tight fought battle that any little chink in your armour is going to show in that race.
So what we're looking forward to for the rest of the week, Cam, obviously we were supposed to have the super stocks today, but the weather has come in again. The forecast is a bit brighter for tomorrow, but I think we've learnt probably not to rely too heavily on that.
We won't, but I'm still itching to see that first super stock race. I mean, last year we saw the fastest ever lap around the TT course, which still stands, Peter Hickman, in that super stock race. And the sidecars, personally, can't wait to see what the Crow brothers can do again. And of course, we're hoping for race 2. We'll have the fresh pairing of Ben Birchall and Kevin Rousseau making their TT debut together after they're off during qualifying. So they could certainly set a cat amongst the pigeons, if you like, in the second sidecar race.
Good stuff. Plenty more racing still to come here then at TT24. Just the one race today, but it was one to remember. Michael Dunlop becoming the most successful rider in the history of this iconic event. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.